Wait for more people to join. Go ahead and throw a welcome in the chat. Let us know where you're coming from. The staff is all based here in New York City. I know a lot of familiar faces, but we have runners from around the world. At least half of our team does not live in New York City. So if you're on this call thinking everyone knows everyone, we know almost no one, but we're going to get to know you over the course of the 20 weeks, and we look forward to meeting everybody. So hello and welcome. I'll also give a shout out. We have a very enthusiastic Facebook community. So if you're looking to connect with your teammates and you're not New York City based, you can't come to our practices, look out for the first weekly email. There's going to be a link to the Facebook group for the TCS New York City Marathon team. You'll be able to get to know your coaches, your mentors, your other teammates, the staff there. And we'll talk more. We have mentors. So we have a group of alumni who have volunteered to serve as mentors. So if you just have a lot of questions and want to pick somebody's ear about what is it going to be like to come to New York? Where do I stay? What do I wear? How do I get there? What's with this Lady Jeremy? We have a group of mentors who are happy and ready and willing to answer all of your questions. So we'll get to how to request a mentor and how to connect with more of the team in a little bit. So we'll give it about 2 more minutes before we start jumping in. But yeah, keep your lines muted. Definitely throw your questions in the chat and we'll get going soon.
Jeremy, you're unmuted again.
Guys, this is going to be a problem, isn't it?
Technology is hard.
Just checking out all of the locations. Cleveland, shout out to Yvonne. I'm also a Cleveland native. Welcome to the team. I saw Portugal. You can stay up much later than I have the capacity to stay up, but welcome to the team. Mexico, lots of California, lots of Texas, Jersey, New York.
Gold Coast, Australia.
Wow, Jody might be winning furthest away right now. Or Jenna, are you winning furthest away? Not sure. Well done though. Welcome. Awesome. Mal, are you having trouble because I've just been muted the whole time I've been trying to talk? Is that why you can't hear me? Because that could be the problem. Oh, Laura. Yes, of course, Laura. Cleveland natives. We're going to start a subgroup of Cleveland natives. I love it. Okay, well, we're going to have Ashley get going on putting the deck up. We'll give 1 more minute. Just make sure we're letting everyone from the waiting room in. But it looks like everybody's here. Yeah. So again, last reminder, mute your line. But welcome everyone. It's happening. Some of you have waited months and months and months for this day. So many of you signed up well before the drawing, right after the marathon, and it probably seemed very far away, but here we are. So Ashley, you want to advance the slide, please? So quick overview, welcome and thank you. Team for Kids is going to be a really exciting experience, but we want to start. The very first thing we say to you is thank you. Simply put, the youth and community programs that we provide free of cost to kids in New York and across the country cannot happen without the funds raised by this team. Team for Kids funds over 70% of our youth and community programs, impacting 100,000 kids, just a million, zillion, that's not a true number. Many kids, families, communities. It trickles up, it trickles down. So many parents get motivated and start being active when their kids want them to get involved. So many kids see their grandmas in the Striders program, and that motivates them to participate with them. The reach of what this funding will touch is beyond what you really even can imagine. We all know the benefits of being active and what it does for us. It keeps us calm, it keeps us healthy, it keeps us grounded. And passing that gift on, that life skill on, is just one of the best things you can do for someone. So starting off with a huge thank you to all of you for choosing Team for Kids and participating with us this season. So moving on, we'll meet the staff, we'll talk about your impact, we'll talk about some of the resources and key dates that you need to know for the season, talk about training, and then meet the coaches. So Ashley, can you please advance? Okay, so the staff. Hi, my name's Jeremy. I'm the director of the Team for Kids program. Team for Kids also has 3 additional full-time staff and an intern coming soon. Irene Chen is going to be joining us next week as an intern who will be with us through the marathon. Ashley, formerly Birnbaum, that might ring a bell for some people, now Lopez, has just rejoined our team, and we are so excited to have her back. And then David Law, who was on the team for the last couple of years, he's back as well. Is Lindsay on the call? Not yet. Okay. And then Lindsay, who you might not necessarily know from Team for Kids, but she's been with New York Roadrunners for 7 years. She literally knows everything. So she was a phenomenal addition to the team. So she's on our team this year as well. Okay, guys, the most important thing I'm going to tell you tonight, if you have a question at any point from now until November, please email teamforkids@nyrr.org. We're going to say it many, many times tonight. It's truly the most important takeaway of the presentation. That is how you're going to get your questions answered by one of the staff members. We are literally the people typing those answers. You're going to get an email from Jeremy, Ashley, Lindsay, or David. We'll probably spare Irene, but it's us who you're asking. So it's coming right from the source. So any question, no question too big or small. teamforkids@nyrr.org. The only bad question is when you don't ask. And we're here to help you. So please let us help. Don't make yourself nervous when you could just ask a question. Okay, next slide. Oh, we have an extra special guest as well on the line tonight. So I'd love to introduce Catherine Bradley, the Vice President of Development and Philanthropy here at New York Roadrunners.
Hi, thanks, Jeremy, and everybody. This is really very exciting. This is really my first kickoff for Team for Kids for the marathon. I just started with the New York Roadrunners in November, right after last year's marathon. So welcome, and I echo Jeremy's thank you so much for choosing Team for Kids to run with this year. We really do truly appreciate your effort to raise money for our programs. As Jeremy mentioned, we offer these programs year round, which is really unique among the major marathon organizations. It's a 365-day operation that we got going, and we're really proud of it. And we are just so grateful that runners like you choose Team for Kids to support and to raise money for. So thank you so much. And I know Jeremy talked about how the kids that we serve, inspire their parents to get more active. But I would say the Team for Kids runners also are an inspiration to other runners. I know I've been running for a long time around New York. And I remember, a long time ago, before I joined Roadrunners as an employee, I would see the Team for Kids runners, and it's almost like they become kind of famous around town. So you will be serving as a role model and inspiration for other runners, and so I think you're going to have a wonderful time, and Jeremy and the team is fantastic, and so I know it'll be great. But please, like Jeremy said, reach out if you have questions or feedback. We would love to hear from you. So thank you, and good luck with your training.
Thank you, Kathy. And we'll see Kathy popping in at practices here and there. If you are able to come to practice, or even if you're just in New York for the weekend, come to practice and meet some of the team. You'll get to put some faces to names. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so a little bit of a season overview. This is going to be a little bit more technical, and then we'll get to more fun things. But just to give you an idea of what's going to happen over the next few months, it's June, so it's time to start training. You've all received an email. If you are planning on using the Run Coach virtual trainer, dig out that email, or this Sunday we'll be sending you a new one with all the information, and set up your online training plan. That's what we're going to be following if that's how you choose to train over the course of the season. And then our first in-person practice is next week on Wednesday night, the 21st. So if you are in New York City, you definitely should come check out practice. Most people worry they don't know anyone, or they're not sure about it, or they're a little shy. And then they come to practice in like October and they kick themselves saying, why didn't I do this sooner? I promise this is an extremely welcoming group of people. There literally is no pace too fast or too slow. Maybe you could be too fast. I don't know, but that would be really impressive. But there's no pace too slow to come join us in practice. We run at all paces. We have our coaches there. We have our mentors there. So please, if you're around and you're interested, definitely come to practice. If you're a solo runner, do your thing, and we'll see you on race day. Ashley, we fast forwarded a little bit. One more slide back, I think.
Yeah, guys, technology is not the best for me right now either. Okay. I don't really know what happened.
Okay, perfect. Here we are. So June, get going. Get your fundraising page set up, get your training plan set up, and start running. July, just keep running and fundraising. Not a lot happening for the race yet, but we're building our base and we're building our fundraising. August, there's some really important things happening. So in August, one of the first major race decisions you'll be making is your baggage and transportation selection. I'm flagging this not because we're going to talk about it now. We are going to talk about it so much at the end of July and early August to make sure you understand your choices, what that means, and what you are going to be most comfortable picking. But I'm telling you this because in order to be able to pick your baggage and transportation selection, and honestly, in order to receive any communication that's being put out by the TCS New York City Marathon now through August and beyond, you need to register for the race. This confuses a lot of people. Team for Kids has a two-step registration process. All of you are on this call because you've taken step one. You went to runwithtfk.org and you signed up for the event. You paid the $100, you made the fundraising commitment. If that is all you've done, you are not fully registered for the race yet. And I'm sorry if our emails have been confusing you. So everyone is sent an invitation code 7 to 10 business days after you sign up with Team for Kids. So at this point, everyone has gotten theirs. You need to use that registration code on nyrr.org in order to complete your registration and be an actual participant in the race. If everything I said just super duper confused you, what you should do is send an email at teamforkids@nyrr.org, and we will get back to you tomorrow to clarify it. We can confirm if you're registered. We can walk you through the process. It's clunky, we know. Two-step processes are one step too many, ideally, but it is the world that we live in. But really, really important at this time, getting registered, confirming you're registered should be a priority. New York Roadrunners is starting to send out their newsletters for the race with race-specific information. If you're not registered by August, you're going to miss that baggage and transportation option. Transportation options fill up. So if you register late and a boat or a ferry is full, you're going to have to pick a different one, which maybe isn't your first choice. So it's so important for you to be in a position to be making these choices and getting the options you want. To just confirm your registration now, it'll make the rest of the season a lot easier for you. The other thing I wanted to highlight is that New York Roadrunners puts on 2 marathon training series races. In August, there's a 12 miler, and in September, there's an 18 miler. These events are held in Central Park here in New York. And as a Team for Kids member, you are eligible for complimentary entry into both of these races. If you are a person who comes to practice, these will take the place of our practice that weekend, the weekends where they fall. If you're a person who was coming to New York for the race and was thinking about maybe a scouting trip, these might be a good weekend so you can come and participate in these events. Or if you're planning on running them anyway, good news, you can run them for free with Team for Kids. Ashley and or David will drop the link to the form to sign up for these races in the chat now. Essentially, what you do is submit the form telling us which race, one or two, it can be both of them, or if you're not available on the 19th, but you're available on the 30th, just say that. Just have like a certain amount of confidence that you can actually make it, because we do have a limited number of entries, but we've never run out. But if you want to participate, submit that form. Also, you have to be registered. So in order for us to then send you the invitation codes to sign up for these two events complimentary, you do need to be registered. Again, if any of that's confusing, it's probably super confusing. Email us at teamforkids@myrr.org and we can go through it in more detail. Also, just check out the link. There's more information there. But if one or both of these races were something you were planning on, fill out the link. We'll get you set up with the entry so you can come and participate. The other then the hard registration deadline's in September, but we are all going to be registered well before September, so you don't have any problems and you don't miss any communications. The next major deadline beyond that we're working toward is the fundraising deadline. This is a big one. So on October 4th is when your fundraising commitment, the fundraising deadline is. And the next day, if you have a balance, the credit card you put on file will be charged to the credit card that we have on file. So just to make sure everyone understood that, it was in the terms and conditions, it was in the pop-up when you signed up, but that's a real thing. If that makes you a little bit nervous, email us at teamforkids@myrr.org. We can set up one-on-one fundraising consultations. We can help you get your page set up now. We can connect you to a mentor. I think when it comes to fundraising, the hardest thing is the first ask. Once you ask the first person, and I recommend like a real softball person who you're very sure is going to donate to you, it gets easier as you go. You get your elevator pitch down. You just get more comfortable doing it. So honestly, when it comes to fundraising, the hardest thing is the first ask, and after that, it gets better. The other thing is we always recommend start early. The earlier you start, the earlier you get your singlet. So as a Team for Kids runner, you're going to get a yellow singlet that you can or you do not have to wear on race day, but it helps us kind of represent as a team and identify you to cheer for you on race day. You get that when you reach the halfway part of your fundraising. So when you hit 1310, our team will mail you a singlet. And the sooner you can not think about fundraising and just focus on the race. So there really is no benefit to procrastinating on fundraising. We highly recommend you get those pages set up, get your plan together. If you need some help getting your plan together, reach out to teamforkids@myrr.org. We can set up the fundraising consults. We can set you up with a mentor. We can get a plan together so we can all start working towards those goals. And then once that's done, all you have to do is run a marathon. So in November, I want to highlight a few of our special events that happen in November. So really race week, Team for Kids has a lot going on. So the Wednesday before the marathon is the last in-person practice. That's a special practice we have. It's usually dark in the park when we are doing that one. So we wear glow necklaces, and it's one of our biggest practices because so many out-of-towners are in town and we can all run that one together. All of you will be coming to the TCS New York City Marathon Expo at the Javits Center to pick up your bib. There is no proxy pickup. There is no race day pickup. We will see all of you at the expo to get your bib. Also flagging that we have a TFK breakfast for the team the Saturday before the race. So many more details will come about that breakfast, but wanted to put that on your radar. If you're traveling, if you're making plans in New York, if that's something that interests you, make sure you kind of reserve Saturday morning to participate in the breakfast. Obviously, Sunday is race day. And then for those of you not familiar with the TCS New York City Marathon, the day after is Marathon Monday, and they build out a big store of finisher gear at the pavilion, which you will figure out what that is on race week. It's a structure we put up in Central Park, and it's where our breakfast will be. So wanted to flag some of these key moments throughout the season to give you an idea of what to expect over the next few months. And I know hopefully David and Ashley and Lindsay have been able to keep up with the chat. But I am now going to pass it off, and I will get into the chat as well to help answer some questions. Okay, Ashley, do you want to take it from here?
Yes, I figured out how to unmute myself. I'm very proud. So you guys are going to be sent a weekly email every Sunday at 9 a.m. I know Dorothy has always mentioned that, it's the thing that she always wakes up at 9 a.m. on Sunday morning, very excited. These important email digests will include all the information you guys are going to need throughout the course of the season. So updates we have internally to give to you guys as the runners, deadlines. There's a lot of the information that Jeremy mentioned. When we have solid concrete dates, you'll be given these directly via the weekly email. We'll have events such as the breakfast or the training runs, different where practices are. All these events and updates will be in this weekly email. Every week there'll also be a different story, impact story of someone in the community, either via Rise New York Road Runners, Striders, Open Run, what have you, that really brings back what exactly you're doing this for. Because we are so grateful that you guys have decided to fundraise and run with us, but we want to give you backstories of where your funds are going to. It'll also include the link to the virtual strength training video. And then it'll also give you information about in-person practice details. For those of you living in the New York City area, please make sure to pay attention to it, as not every practice is going to be meeting at the bottom of Central Park or near the Run Center. Sometimes we'll be out in Brooklyn, sometimes we'll be uptown, and it'll give you vital information that you'll need about where bag check is, where to meet, etc. It'll also give you fundraising tips. I'm very excited about the ones that are very beachy, especially for the holiday weekends, and how you can fundraise, in the fall around football, lots of different things. So we're happy to give those to you. There'll also be links for individual fundraising consultations. If you have an injury and want to check in with one of our coaches, there's a link for that as well. You can get connected to a TFK mentor. And two links that are also, another link that's on here is a link to the Facebook group as well. So please make sure they'll be at the bottom of the email, and we're happy to connect you with any of these things. Just make sure you're reading the email. Okay, mentors. This one is me as well. This is a picture of our illustrious mentors. Our mentors are TFK alumni who have run at least one, in some cases. I mean, feel free to someone put it in the chat how many races, how many marathons you've run and with us. These are our very experienced alumni who have donated their time to us to help beginning runners who are getting back into it. For any reason, if you want to sign up for a mentor, they are here to help. They are here to give you fundraising advice. They are here to give you a little pep in your step if you need a little bit of fun coaching in terms of, I need to get out there and run today. Can you help motivate me? They are wonderful. The greatest part for a lot of people is meeting their mentor at the end of the season. You can stay connected via email, via phone. We'll be able to connect you guys however your preference. Please make sure that if you speak another language, and if you prefer to have a mentor that speaks your language, let us know. We have mentors that speak Italian, French, Spanish. I'm sure we have someone that speaks Cantonese. We have languages across the board. Please feel free to, again, in the bottom of the email, scroll all the way down. There's a nice, beautiful button with a road on it, and it says find a running mentor. Click that button. It'll give you the link. You can sign up for a mentor, and we'll connect you with them. All right, I'm going to pass it over to David.
Really quick, I am also dropping the mentor sign up link into the
thank
chat. So there is no need to wait. You can request tonight. Give us about a week to match, maybe a week and a half for this first batch, but we'll get you hooked up with someone right away.
All right. Thank you, Ashley and Jeremy. TFK does provide our team with a lot of great resources to get them ready for race day. Go to the next slide. Can you guys hear me? Cool. All right. So one of the best things that we offer complimentary access to is the NYR Coaching Lab by Run Coach. So this is a virtual training app that's intended to complement the 2 weekly workouts that are included in your weekly emails. Instructions to access this app at no cost were previously sent a little while ago, but they will also be included in the week 1 email that will be coming out this Sunday. There's a specific code that you'll enter close to the end of the sign up process. It should adjust the price to 0, and then from there you can complete the transaction. The great thing about this app is it's very adaptive. You put in your goals, you put in your training. It's relative to how you're performing. It also features access to live coaches within the app for live feedback. And again, this is designed to work with the in-person training, so you can log in your miles, log in the workouts that we are prescribing. If you're in the New York City area, those group training workouts, log those into the training app, and it'll adapt as you go on throughout the season. Our Facebook group is going to be, I believe it is live for this event. So for each year, we have a dedicated Facebook group for each TFK team. This is a link to this will be in the bottom of, I believe, all of our emails. It's a great way to connect with the team, especially for those outside of the New York City area. As Jeremy mentioned, overwhelming number of our team is not in the New York City area. So whether across the country or around the world, it's a great way to keep in touch, meet new runners, share your training experiences, share your fundraising experiences. It's a really great way, again, to get in touch with others, share your journey, and find potential training partners in your area. There's a good chance someone you know or someone close by may be on the team. Okay, our virtual strength training videos will also be included in the weekly emails. They're scheduled to be performed on Mondays. However, as there are pre-recorded videos, you can do them whenever works best for you. These will be provided in the weekly emails as well, performed by our coaches with instructions. And again, common theme here is our weekly emails. Our weekly emails are a great kind of one-stop shop. If you have a question, take a quick look at that email. There's a good chance part of your answer is in there. Every week we'll outline the 2 weekly workouts that are coming up with logistics based on time and location. I'll circle back to that in a second. Also included in those emails are fundraising tips, program updates, if the key deadlines that Jeremy mentioned earlier, whether it's fundraising dates, action items for registration. Your baggage and transportations are now open. Your confirmation forms are live. Anything that's relative to your TFK experience or anything relative to being a registered runner for the New York City Marathon will be in those emails. Let's see. In-person practices for any of our returning members, there's a slight change. For our Wednesday evening sessions, they will be beginning slightly earlier. So the practices on Wednesday evenings will start at 6 p.m. The Run Center will be open and available for bag check. We recommend at least 10 to 15 minutes to get to the Run Center, take care of your bags, drop everything, use the restroom, and then the meeting point where the workouts will start is the same as previous years at the USS. I forget the name of the monument, but it's in Columbus Circle at Central Park South. You'll see a sea of green shirts there. That's the right group. It is a very popular area. A lot of running groups are out there. You can't miss TFK coaches and staff there. I think that's it for this slide. Actually, I would go, there's a couple points I wanted to make on the group training sessions. The details will be included in the weekly emails. And for the lockers at the Run Center, Wednesday evenings, it's going to be open to the public, so you can just come in through the front door. There may be times where there are lockers not available for every runner because, we're getting back to like pre-pandemic levels. A lot of run clubs also come there and use those lockers. It's possible, if you can, maybe meet with a buddy, share a locker. If it's truly at capacity, we'll make arrangements and bag check. We might have to have like a separate manual check, and we'll give you a ticket, but that'll be later on towards the season. As when the season gets longer, a lot of more clubs will be out there in Central Park sharing the road. For the weekend practices, they will begin at 8 a.m. for the start of the season. Bag check will also be available at the Run Center. However, you'll enter through the back door. The exact location of the entrance, again, will be shared in the weekly emails. At the beginning of the season, the start time for the weekend practices will be 8 a.m. As the season goes on, because of the weather and because of the workouts getting longer, those start times for the weekend workouts will be moved to 7 a.m. But again, we'll communicate any shift or any change in advance. So those weekend emails that you get, say for this Sunday, will outline for the week coming forward. When that shift change for those weekly workouts happen, will be communicated in advance. Wednesday evening workouts will almost always take place in Central Park. The weekend long runs occasionally have some variations. As much as we love Central Park, it's a 20-week program. We try to mix it up, try to give you guys a little bit of a different experience. If there's any variation to the start time, starting meeting place for the Saturday workout, it'll be communicated in advance in the weekly email. We'll also send out a reminder prior, usually on the Friday beforehand, just as a reminder, hey, don't go to the Run Center. We're not going to be there. We'll be meeting at X location. And again, all this information is included in the weekly email. And
We love emails. Okay, so that was all of the very administrative, kind of less glamorous stuff, but we will transition to the fun. We know that you love the staff, but you really love the coaches. So I'm excited that we have some of the coaches on the line today. I'm going to go through the coaches who are here. We're going to ask them to introduce yourselves and go ahead and give the runners a tip or some advice for heading into the season. So we will start with Coach Glenn.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to what will be an amazing journey for you all, whether it's your first or your 50th. New York never disappoints as far as the marathon. I've been a coach with Team for Kids now 17 years, and I've been a lifelong runner. I think one of the most important things that we can tell you to is enjoy the journey. It starts now, enjoy it. As far as a quick coaching advice, you all should start thinking about training your mind as much as the body. A marathon is as much mental as it is a physical challenge. So those days that it's raining or you just don't feel like getting up, learn to be able to tell that little gremlin that tells you you can't, that goes on your shoulder, that you can. And that skill will serve you well come marathon day. That's it.
Awesome. I believe Coach Natalie is on the line.
Hi, everyone. I'm Coach Natalie. This will be it's my 1-year anniversary with Team for Kids because I joined last year officially for the marathon training season. And what I love about this team is all the support, right? So no matter what's going on, be sure to share it with your running team. As Coach Glenn is saying, it's really important to train the mind as well as the body. And sometimes that means letting your coach know what's going on. Hey, it was a little stressful at work today, because that's going to affect your run, right? Because the body doesn't know the difference in what types of stress. So let us know so we can adjust what have you and help you bring the joy to it. Even when you're stressed, you can find joy in your running and use that as a good release, a good place to work it out. So welcome, especially all your first timers. It's going to be great. You've got it. I thought I was one and done, and New York this year will be my 20th marathon. And I didn't start till I was well into my 40s. So you guys certainly have this. And if you're in the area, come to practices as much as you can, because it's worth it. Look forward to meeting everyone.
Awesome. Did Coach Dorothy make it on?
Yep, I'm here.
Yes.
Hi, guys. I'm Coach Dorothy. Actually started out as a Team for Kids fundraiser and became a mentor, and I am going into my 5th season as a coach. And I want to welcome everybody, and just know that no matter what your pace is, we have a group that's there that's going to run with you. So we don't leave anybody behind. And the first time I came to practice, I thought I was the only person and everybody else knew each other. And I quickly made what I consider now lifelong friends. So welcome to the team. If you have questions, please feel free to ask.
Awesome. I know that Coach Sid's on the line, but are there any other coaches I don't realize are on the line? We have way more than 4 coaches. Coach Ben is our head coach. Coach Rowe, Coach Rosie, Coach Scott, a bunch of people who are not able to make us tonight. We have some new coaches similar to Dorothy. Coach Dave is not new, but he was also a team member, and Tanya was also a team member, Coach Kim. So lots of coaches to meet virtually as we have clinics and other meetings throughout the season, as well as in person if you can come to practice. But if there is not another coach on, I will introduce you all to the ray of sunshine that is Coach Sid.
Okay, now all I have to do is get online. I don't know if you can hear me or not. Can you hear me? I can't see. I can't see myself. I don't know what's going on.
We do see the Tupperware, Sid.
Say that again.
We are seeing the Tupperware.
Okay, you see the Tupperware again. Okay, here we go. How about that? Is it any better?
Yep, lots of trophies behind you now.
Fantastic.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Now, the first, I've been here, I've been a coach with Glenn for 17 years. And guess what? Every year it's something different. And I know what Glenn said, and I know what Natalie said. And I know we are not psychiatrists. We're not going to help you with that now. The most important thing, I just want to say thank you for joining and supporting Team for Kids, number one. All we're going to do is take you from, my goal is to take you from Staten Island all the way to Tavern on the Green. And guess what? A lot of the runners are not going to, don't think that walking is not part of running. Walking is part of running. And I want you to always remember this. Some of the people who've never ran a marathon before, they might have this problem, but always think of it like this. Always think in terms of walk when you want to walk, not when you have to walk. We're going to help you in every way. We're going to get you from the Staten Island there, but don't get all bent out of shape if you can't run the whole marathon. I ran my first marathon I ever ran, I walked and ran it, and I still did 3:02. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about anything. We're here to help you. And remember this, what you did, you made that commitment to join the Team for Kids. You're not only helping the kids, you're helping yourself too. Because this probably was on your bucket list. But all I want to do is see you guys in person so I can remember your name. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Sid. Yeah, and I think Sid brings up a good point. What we do at practice on Monday, or at home on Monday and at practice on Wednesday next week, is not where we're going to be in 20 weeks. Where you start, if you could run the marathon at your goal pace tomorrow, congratulations. But we don't expect any of you to be doing that. We are spending the next 20 weeks building our base, building our confidence, building our endurance, getting faster, getting more comfortable. Run walk is an extremely successful strategy. I cannot guarantee you a 302 if you try to do run walk. However, I can guarantee that many other runners are going to be out there run walking. Forward progress is how you complete a marathon. Not quitting and just keep moving forward as fast or as slow as you need to at that moment. But like Sid said, tomorrow or next week is a starting point. It's not the end goal. The end goal is in November. But every week we get stronger. Every week we can go a little faster or a little further, and that's what we're doing. We have a famous turtle on the call, Ira Paul. He'll tell you all about it. You don't slow and steady wins the race, guys. But we're so excited to be here with you. We're so excited to experience this with you every year. It's overwhelming for me. You only get to run your first marathon once. A lot of you in the chat are saying this is your first marathon. But what's special about what we do at Team for Kids is that we get to experience first-time marathoners year after year after year by supporting you in the season, by training with you, by helping you answer your questions. What do I wear? How do you take the subway to Staten Island? All of the questions that you have, if you're not familiar with New York, we're here to answer them. Our goal is to get you to the start line, and then we're going to be waiting there with open arms to welcome you to the finish. So we're so excited to get the season started. We're so excited to get to know you over the course of the next 20 weeks. Please ask us questions early and often. We have the most capacity to answer your questions right now. So don't wait till November.
Jeremy.
Team for Kids NYRR. Throw some, if you have a question now, throw it in the chat. I did put the links for the mentors. And again, mentors know everything. Definitely request a mentor. They're just going to be able to give you insight. They've done it a bunch of times. They know what they're doing. They know all the tricks and all the tips that you want to know.
And they're excited to be matched with you, more importantly.
Yes. And then also ask the team, teamforkids@nyrr.org. Read your weekly emails. We promise the answer is in those emails. Yeah,
I can answer a couple questions.
Yeah.
The slide deck won't be sent out, but there will be a link to this recording in the next weekly email. Someone had asked a question about singlets. We start sending them around the start of our season. So within the next couple of weeks, we'll start sending out the singlets. So if you've already reached the halfway point, you'll be on that first send, and way to go. How many runners are on TFK?
This year's team,
one?
we'll have around a little over 2,600 runners on the team. So we have the biggest charity presence at the TCS New York City Marathon. We have the biggest tent at the Start Village on Staten Island. We didn't touch on it, but we do have some great race day perks. We have our own dedicated ferry that takes us to Staten Island. We get on our own buses to our own tent. You will not have to wait in line to the bathroom on race day, the single greatest perk I can offer you, because we have our own toilets. We have coffee and bagels and sponsored product, all sorts of goodies at the tent. We have our coaches who are going to lead a warm up, walk you into your corral. And then just, again, all you have to do is run 26 miles and we'll be standing there waiting for you to escort you to our finish tent. Everyone else has to hobble home right away. You get to sit down, have a snack, get your wits about you. And then when you're ready, stand up if you can. We're there to help you if you can't. And then you hobble home. So we are going to be there. We have coaches lining the course to cheer for you, which is another great reason to wear your singlet. But please just do whatever you're most comfortable and what you've trained in. If you've never worn your singlet before, don't wear it on race day. But as soon as you get it, start wearing it, because we want to see you in it on race day.
Hune asked, they've registered and put an estimated goal time. Is there a way to be able to change this if my running speed is improving? I'm assuming this is about Run Coach, and correct me if I'm wrong, David and Jeremy, it does adjust when you put your running times in, correct?
Run Coach will adjust as you get faster, but if you are talking about NYRR's website when you register for the marathon, that you cannot change. The only way you can change that time is if you've run a recent race, and it has to be like a certified qualifying race, and you can like you have like a certified finish time that you can prove that you've run a faster time. I will say one of the other perks of Team for Kids is that we have our own starting waves throughout the whole start timelines, and wave 1, 2, 3, 4. We have our own TFK corral. So almost all of our runners get a generous bump up in their starting position, and you all get to start together as a team with your coaches. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Usually our runners get to start a little bit ahead of where they would be placed if they were placed just based on that team. And you get to start with your teammates. So you're going to start in like a TFK green corral with your teammates, with your coaches, with your mentors, and you'll get to at least start the race together and see what happens.
Karen asked what is at the charity tent at mile 22. I believe that is just about the charity cheer zone.
Yes, so there is a charity cheer zone. As you can tell from this call, Team for Kids has 4 staff members. We will be at the buses, the ferries, and the start and finish tents. So we do not have a big cheer zone presence whatsoever. We can help you identify some of the other cheer zones New York Roadrunners is hosting, and great places to cheer. We can work on a strategy for your spectators to ride the subway and see you at a couple places. But we do not have like a standalone TFK cheer zone. We just simply don't have enough people. And I think our unofficial cheer zone member, our leader, Bruce, is running this year. So that kind of was the TFK.
Wow. I'm trying to look through the chat. If anyone has any additional questions, please feel free to pop them in now.
A note about the singlets earlier. We haven't started sending them for this team yet, but it's a great opportunity to make sure the mailing address in your Team for Kids account is up to date. Occasionally, runners will hit the 50% mark, we'll place an order. The runners never get the singlet. We check the tracking number and it went to their apartment from 2 years ago. So things happen, things change. It's totally normal. Just double check the mailing address in your Team for Kids profile is up to date.
Yes, we will send the shirt to where you tell us you live. If you don't live there anymore and you haven't told us, then your shirt is going to your old house.
It will be a
update
singlet.
it in your profile, or if that's confusing to you, just email us your new address at teamforkidsnyrr.org. Just keep an eye and have an awareness of where you are with your fundraising. Or if you've moved recently or you're not sure what you wrote in November, December, January when you signed up, just email us and we'll get it all straightened out now. Natasha asked about the transportation. So the TCS New York City Marathon runs through the 5 boroughs of New York City. It starts on Staten Island and you immediately leave Staten Island. But the tricky part really is getting to Staten Island. New York Roadrunners provides transportation for our runners to get there. And Team for Kids has our own dedicated transportation. We are going to go so deep on this topic in late July to prepare you for the decision to make in August. But I can let you know that as of now, the Team for Kids ferries are the same ferries we've had for the past couple of years. It's the C Streak ferry. It leaves from East 34th Street in the East River. So it's kind of Midtown East is the area I would call that. If you're thinking about hotels and you're thinking about wanting to take the TFK ferry, there's also a Midtown bus that leaves from the public library on 42nd Street in Midtown. Those Midtown for travelers is a popular area because it's close to the finish. I recommend staying close to the finish because you won't have a ton of energy to get home at the end. But honestly, think about where you're staying, think about the transportation you're comfortable with. I live in Brooklyn, I always take the ferry, and I always just recommend do what's the least stressful on race day. Do whatever's easiest. You don't want to create complications by trying to get to the ferry. If you live in New Jersey, just take the New Jersey bus. Do what's easiest on race day. keeping it as simple as possible will be helpful. We are going to send you so much information on transportation. That's all going to be coming starting at the end of next week. But yeah, just keep in mind, if the TFK ferry is something you're interested about, we leave from East 34th Street and the East River.
Jeremy, we have a couple questions about purchasing TFK gear.
Yes. So our store was closed for COVID because our offices were closed. We are actually waiting on some shipments to restock some items. And when the store gets back up and running, we'll let everyone know. The gear is absolutely going to be on sale for the expo, but hopefully we'll be able to open the store and get some merch orders and shipments out prior. So more to come.
I feel like our mentors are really popping into the chat, and I appreciate that so much, helping us answer the questions. Any additional questions anyone else has?
Yeah, any burning question anyone has, let us know. This is the only kind of kickoff call we do like this. We are going to have a couple clinics over the course of the season. We'll have a just kind of a marathon basics gear clinic. We'll have a nutrition clinic and an injury prevention clinic all over the next couple of months. We will also do personal fundraising consultations. So if you're really nervous or just not sure, and you've looked through our fundraising resources that are on the website and you still want to talk it through, send us an email. We'll set up a one-on-one session to talk about it. Yeah, and then we'll have—
Yes, they will be virtual.
Yes. All of those are virtual or recorded to be shared. And then, like I said, around some of these bigger decisions, specifically baggage and transportation, we're going to do a couple webinars that will be totally virtual, that we can go deep and really explain what the selection is, what it means on race day, where it'll leave from, where it's going to drop you off, what you need to do. So kind of new this year, we know baggage and transportation is so confusing, even if you live here and even if you've done the race before, let alone if you've never been to New York City or never been to the United States before. So we're going to spend some time talking about that in July and August to make sure you're all as comfortable with making that choice as possible. And then right before race week, we have our time-honored tradition of the last chance conference call. So right before the race, we are going to send you a very long document with literally every piece of information you need to know for TFK race week. And then later that week, we will be hosting our last chance conference call, where it's your opportunity to ask your last chance questions of, oh my goodness, one last thing. Also, just like we're the faces and the people answering the emails in the inbox, we will be the faces and the people giving you your bibs and at the expo. So when you come to pick up your bib, it's a great opportunity to meet, to connect, but to ask your questions. The coaches will be there with us. A lot of our mentors are going to be volunteering to hand out bibs, and the staff basically lives at the Javits Center for 3 days. So we're going to be there. We're going to be there with bells.
I want to answer. We are. It's wonderful. The latest question: how much money is fundraising right now would be on track? There's no on track. It depends on when you signed up. It depends on what your life is like. Feel free to set up a calendar for yourself and kind of map it out to see what works for you. Feel free to sign up for a fundraising consultation if you're concerned about it. Most importantly,
also on track, I would say, is set up your fundraising page now.
If you've started.
Just start.
Yeah. The other thing that I do want to mention is about matching gifts. We have a lot of information about it on our website. A lot of matching gift platforms. For those of you who don't know what matching gifts are, some of your donors, or maybe you work at companies, that if you make a donation and you submit a donation to the company or make it through the company will match the amount that's donated and send that amount to us. Please feel free to reach out as early as you want to ask questions about this, because the earlier you get those matches in, the better it is for you, because we can't count it towards your fundraising until we've received it. If you have any questions at all, I know it's just like a little bit of information. I am the matching gifts queen. I proudly wear that crown. I am happy to help with any questions about it. because I want you to be able to get your fundraising in and get that done with. That way you don't have to worry about it later on. So please feel free to email Team for Kids, as Jeremy said, teamforkids@myr.org, and we will be happy to help.
I'm trying, guys, you guys are so active in this chat and it is so small on my computer. Feel free, if anybody wants to go off mute, if there's anything that we haven't heard that you have a burning question, feel free. We have a few more minutes left. But if not, so if you have questions, you can welcome to stay on. If not, we want to be respectful of your time. Thank you so much. We are so excited to get the season going. We are reachable 5 days a week at Team for Kids at nyrr.org. You'll see our faces at practices. Our coaches are at all the practices. Our mentors are at all the practices. We are here to help and support you. So don't be a stranger. We look so forward to getting to know you all over the next 20 weeks. And we cannot wait to see you in Central Park in November. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a good night. Bye.
Hi, I have a quick question if you have a second.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm moving to New York City and I was debating maybe getting a hotel closer to the ferries. What time are the ferries leaving on race day?
So it depends on when your start assignment is, and that information doesn't really come out until October.
Okay.
But we basically are going to put you on a ferry that corresponds with your start assignment if you take the TFK ferry. If not, you are going to see start options that correspond loosely with your kind of anticipated starting time within the full marathon field. So runners basically just in baggage transportation, you're going to see a lot of options. The Team for Kids ferry is the simplest because it just says Team for Kids ferry. But then for Staten Island ferry and buses, it's going to give you the ferry and some departure time selections. Those correspond to kind of where you fall in the overall field for when you're going to start. It's complicated. This is why we're going to have multiple standalone webinars about baggage and transportation. But yeah, I'd say honestly, anywhere kind of midtown, like central midtown east works race morning to get to our ferries. Just follow the people that look like runners. You're all going to the same spot.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Jeremy?
Yeah.
My one suggestion is if you can get closer to the finish,
Yeah.
you're going to probably want to be closer to the finish with your hotel. The finish and the ferries are quite a distance away from one another. And it's probably a better idea to be closer up there. It's easy, very easy to get an Uber or a Lyft on the morning to the ferry. There, hardly anybody has any issues with that.
And for the finish, it would be Midtown West or Upper West Side?
I would just Midtown. It can be Upper West Side.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely just like, this is what I do. Just look at Google Maps. A lot of people stay in the Times Square area just because there's so many hotels, and that's not it's not a far walk from the finish. If you're kind of in the 50s. And it's not bad for you to walk it off a little bit. It will be better than just sitting down and not moving for the rest of the day. You can also take the subway. Like the subways are right there. You can take the subway. Be warned, there are stairs you will have to contend with, but that's an option too.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, my name's
Yeah.
Natalia. Super excited. I just started tearing up because I can't wait. This is my first. I've been trying to get into this damn marathon for like 6 years, and stupid Lotto didn't let me. So this is my
thrilled
first
to
time.
have you, Natalia.
Well, it's happening.
Yeah, my first time fundraising, so I'm excited. My question for you is, I may have misheard incorrectly, but I know that the time for us runners will get released in October as to like what time we start, but I thought someone said something to the effect of that we start earlier than most corrals, or did I mishear that?
So you will start in all of the corrals, but a general runner is going to be placed on placed on the best pace that New York Roadrunners has through a very fancy algorithm if you've run our races or your predicted finish time. Team for Kids runners start in TFK, like dedicated corrals within the waves. So typically you would be bumped up a little bit to be placed into a dedicated TFK corral.
Got it. So it's going to,
I'll explain it a little. So say you're a 4-hour marathoner and normally, just I'm making this up, you would be in wave 2, say corral G. The TFK corral may be wave 2, corral C. Hence you are, because we're keeping everyone together. So they just pick a letter out and say, all Team for Kids are going to be in that letter. So some people may be a little bit, behind if say they're an A, but you have the ones who would normally be, in the latter letters that will come up just so we're together. But we'll address all that, especially the coaches who take you up onto the bridge, which we do, about how to handle that. So, but that's the explanation as far as, being at a faster corral. I hope that explained it.
no, you cleared it up for me. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions, guys, while you have us? Okay, if not, thank you all for joining and sticking with us to the very, very end. Again, and I'll say it one last time, we are always available at teamforkids@myrr.org. Cannot wait to get to know you over the course of the season and cannot wait to get started next week. So good night, everybody, and we look forward to kicking it all off next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.